Following the death of first civilian President Shehu Shagari, federal government resolves to immortalize him. Operation Life Yadoli asked inhabitants of Bama to remain calm in wake of false alarm. And FRSC Corps Marshal urges motorists to be cautious on the highways while celebrating New Year. This and more on Panorama today with me, Bintu Alias Somono. Welcome and compliment of the season. Now the federal government has resolved to institute a befitting memorial of honor to immortalize the first civilian president of the country, the late Alhaji Shehu Shagari. President Muhammadu Buhari announced this during a condolence visit to the Sokoto family house of the late president at the seat of the Caliphate. State House correspondent Adam Sambo has details.
President Muhammadu Buhari arrived Siddiq Abubakar III International Airport, Sokoto, at about 10 o'clock Sunday morning. On hand to receive him were Governor Aminu Waziri Tambuwal, his Kebbi State counterpart Abubakar Atiku Bagudu, former Governor Ali Umagar Takardawa Mako, and other personalities from all walks of life. The presidential motorcade then proceeded to the residence of the late President Shehu Shagari at Guiwa area of Sokoto metropolis, where the Nigerian leader formally commiserated with the family of the deceased over the sad loss. President Buhari's personally signed letter of condolence to the Shagari family was read in part by the Sokoto State Governor Aminu Waziri Tambuwal.
This indeed is a grievous icus which will be felt throughout Nigeria, irrespective of any differences. Late Alhaji Shehu Shagari was a landmark figure, being virtually our last link to the post-independence government of Alhaji Abubakar Tafawa Balewa and the first elected executive president of Nigeria. Please convey to his immediate family, the government and people of Sokoto State, my heartfelt condolences on the passing away of this great statesman. The federal government will in due course institute a suitable memorial to the late former president. May his soul rest in peace. Yours sincerely, Muhammadu Buhari.
The chief imam of the National Mosque, Professor Shehu Galadanchi, led a prayer session to Allah to grant the late President Shehu Shagari eternal rest in paradise, and to those he left behind the fortitude and courage to bear the loss. Prayers were also offered for guidance and protection of President Muhammadu Buhari by Allah as he strives to put right the wrongs of the past and ensure a better deal for Nigeria and Nigerians. The late President Shehu Shagari, who died at 93 years, was earlier described by President Muhammadu Buhari as a patriot who lived a life of service with humility, integrity, and diligence worthy of emulation. And as the nation continues to mourn the late president, beginning this Sunday, flags are being flown at half-mast across Nigeria in his honor for 3 days, as directed by the president. Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
Now, Nigerians have continued to react to the demise of late former executive president of Nigeria, Shehu Usman Aliyu Shagari. Najat Tijani reports.
Governor Tambuwal of Sokoto State described the late Shehu Shagari as a man who made an unparalleled contribution to the development of education in Nigeria. Similarly, former head of state General Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida says Africa has lost a statesman whose experience and counsel are needed in these trying times. The Senate President Bukola Saraki and the Speaker House of Representatives Yakubu Dogara say Nigeria has lost a man of peace who will be remembered for his contributions to the country's political and economic development. Meanwhile, the Arewa Consultative Forum and Northern Governors Forum say the late president's choice of remaining apolitical for 35 years since leaving office in 1983 made him Nigeria's best qualified statesman since the Second Republic. Borno State Governor Kashim Shettima, who is chairman of the forum, stated this in a message he personally signed on behalf of the forum. They all commiserate with the family of the deceased, the government and people of Sokoto State and the entire country over the loss and pray for Allah to grant him a place in Al-Jannat Firdaus. Naja'at Tijani, NTA News.
Meanwhile, following President Muhammadu Buhari's directive that flags should fly at half-mast for 3 days in honor of the late former President Shehu Shagari, Bosede Ebel went around the Federal Capital Territory to monitor the situation. This is what she found out.
The nation is in mourning. On a drive round Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory revealed that from the Defense Headquarters, the Police Force CIID, Ministry of Defense, Federal Road Safety Corps, to the Nigerian Customs Service and other public and private places, flags are flying at half-mast to honor a man many agree was a rare gift to the nation. The death of former President Shehu Shagari not only shook the nation, but also unites it as well as Nigerians, irrespective of affiliation, to mourn one of its nationalists.
As you give him that honor, I appreciate it. It's the right thing to honor such a dynamic personality.
Giving this post, humorous honor for our past leaders is a very welcome development, and I think we should applaud the president for that.
It's still a good one. Celebrate him after his death, at least. He's showing forth that they had him in mind.
The flags will continue to fly at half-mast for 3 days. In Abuja, I am Bosede Ebul, NTA News.
Now we move to security matters. The Nigerian Air Force in 2018 embarked on many combat operations geared towards addressing security challenges in different parts of the country. In this report, Defense Correspondent Olajide Bello examines the objectives and impacts on counter-insurgency operations.
The Nigerian Air Force has been playing its responsibility through deployment of air power to support ground troops in combating insecurity in parts of the country. It all started with Operation Lafia Dole and some independent operations, which include Operation Ruan Wuta 1-4, Operation Thunder Strike 1 and 2, as well as Operation Green Sweep. What are the objectives and impacts of these operations?
We realize that, especially during the rainy season, the terrain is extremely bad. It's very difficult for land forces to penetrate. But we are able to fly on clear days, and we are able to put together these operations with the aim of further degrading where these guys are, that the areas that are not accessible to the land forces. In the northwest also, at a certain stage in July 2018, we had to intervene through Operation Diram Mikia, which is purely an air interdiction operations that are aimed at degrading the capacity of these bandits.
What is the Nigerian Air Force outlook for 2019?
If you look at acquisition and reactivation, I think we want to express our appreciation to the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces for supporting us. Have we been able to acquire all we require? The answer is no, but we have made substantial progress. And I think with what we are having, we are able to substantially stabilize some of the areas that would have been impossible for us to stabilize without the number of aircraft that have been acquired.
With continued support of the federal government, the Air Force says it will continue to improve on discharging its constitutional roles professionally in the country. Olajide Bello, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Air Task Force of Operation Deramikia has successfully neutralized bandits' hideout at a compound west of Amari in Birnin Magaji local government area of Zamfara State. A statement by the Director of the Public Relations and Information, Air Commodore Ibikunle Daramola, indicates that the attack was conducted at dawn of the 28th of December 2018, following intelligence reports revealing the compound compound was being used by the bandits as a camp from where they launched attacks against innocent civilians. Accordingly, the Air Task Force detailed a Nigerian Air Force intelligence, surveillance and reconnaissance aircraft which confirmed the presence of bandits armed with high-caliber weapons at the location. Consequently, an Alpha Jet aircraft was dispatched to strike the location, recording direct hits on the target area and resulting in significant damage to the structures and neutralization of the bandits. Now, Operation Lafia Dole says it has been observed that some individuals with likely sinister motives within and outside Borno State are trying to create panic and unnecessary humanitarian problems for undisclosed reasons. A statement by the Deputy Director, Public Relations, Theatre Command, Operation Lafia Dole, Colonel Oyema Mwachuku, indicates that these people are plotting to instigate the inhabitants of Bama, Dikwa and Mongono communities to abandon their communities and relocate to internally displaced persons camps for undisclosed reasons, urging inhabitants of these towns and the general public to discountenance such calls and remain calm. The statement says The statement says Theatre Command, Operation Lafia Dole and other security agencies will shed more light on the issue in a Security Council meeting with the Borno State government scheduled to hold today, Monday, 31st of December 2018. Now let's take a short break. Panorama continues shortly.
The struggle for independence had been a long and tough one. Our founding fathers and compatriots sacrificed their comfort and even shed their blood. We cannot at this point in history afford to spirit away their sacrifices for immediate but temporary gains of today. Let us emphasize what unites and not what divides us. Working for the unity of purpose with a stronger vision for a better tomorrow. NTA. Growing with the nation.
Together, no matter where you come from, no matter your religion, we are one. Let's live together. Let's stop fighting each other. Let us live as one. It doesn't matter where you come from, your tribe or religion, man, woman or child. It doesn't matter who you are. Put Nigeria first. No matter where you come from, no matter your religion, we are one. Let's live together.
How can we develop when we're always in crisis? Families have become refugees in their country. No matter our differences, show some understanding.
No matter where you come from, no matter your religion, we are one. Let's live together.
Nigeria, the only country we can train with remarkable potentials to excel. Let us believe in ourselves and change our attitude for the sake of our country and generations unborn. Let us revive our cultural values, which are our essence as a nation. Let us renew the spirit of patriotism and hope in our dear country. Do not take or give bribe. Be punctual always. No more African time. We can't expect to be global citizens and operate on African time. Join the queue. Insist that people are attended to on a first-come basis, no matter who they are or where they come from.
Nigeria, good people, great nation.
Thank you for staying tuned. Now, apparently, dissatisfied with their performance, the federal government is contemplating measures to make power distribution companies live up to their responsibility of providing efficient power distribution. Minister of State One for Power, Works and Housing Mustafa Baba Shehuri gave this hint when he visited 2 transmission substations in Port Harcourt, the South geopolitical zone. Mohammed Hamza Sheikh has the details.
Port Harcourt region of the TCN comprises 6 states of the South-South zone. The Calabar and Uyo substations have a combined capacity of 420 MVA, which is equivalent to 336 megawatts. This, the General Manager TCN Port Harcourt region explains, is enough to give the people of the region constant power supply.
We have this incremental power addition of the transformers. We are constantly adding transformer to what we have to improve the capacity that we have to be able to wheel power from generation to the distribution points.
However, improvement witnessed in power generation and transmission is not reflected on distribution, as most times generated power is not evacuated by distribution companies.
Big challenge we have is that the powers are not being given to the people. So most of the time it results in shutting down the generation.
At the time of the minister's visit, for instance, meters of the substations were at 0 level because power could not be uploaded by the discos. This, the minister says, must change if the people are to enjoy the fruits of the Buhari administration's labor.
The whole essence of the privatization is to strengthen the system. But what is happening now is the generation capacity has improved, transmission has improved. They have not taken, power from the transmission or the PR of they said losses. And these excuses, are not acceptable.
The federal government is also looking into the issue of compensation in the region which stalls power projects. Mohammed Hamza Sheikh, NTA News.
Well, we are very sorry for some, audio distortion in some portion of that report. Moving on now, the Co-Marshal of Federal Road Safety Corps, Boboye Oyemi, has urged members of the motoring public to remain cautious in the celebration of the new year, assuring that FRSC personnel will remain vigilant on the roads to maintain safety during the period and beyond. In a statement by BC Kazim Corps Public Education Officer FRSC, Oyemi described as satisfactory the stability recorded on the nation's highways during the Christmas celebration, saying that collective faith must be sustained. The Corps Marshal stated that with the return journey of people after the celebrations and expected rise in traffic movement in the new year, occasioned by increased political activities towards the 2019 general elections in the country, FRSC personnel will remain on guard to prevent all forms of disobedience to traffic rules and regulations as well as road mishaps. Now, Nigerians, especially Christmas, have been advised to imbibe the culture of benevolence at this time of the year. The member representing Nsukka, Ibuezui South Federal Constituency, Enugu, Dr. Patrick Asadu, made the remark while presenting gifts to over 100 widows and indigent people in his state. He described the period as an opportunity to extend kindness to the less privileged, promising to empower the beneficiaries with skills to improve their economic status. For
groups, so that we train them and give them real empowerment. Some are going to learn different trades. Some are going to give microcredit and let them try their hands and monitor the trade.
So this is the time to reach out to them, because we are sure that some people, we are not able to provide for the families.
For beneficiaries, the gesture was aptly timed and appreciated. Now, more than 200 corpses were burnt beyond recognition at the mortuary section of the Enugu-Uko General Hospital in Njikoka local government area of Anambra State. Ngozi Okeikeru has the details.
The fire, which started around 3 p.m., raised the morgue with corpses burnt until around 7 p.m. when the men of Anambra State Fire Service Command were able to put out the fire.
It was after even the fire has already started getting things down that fire service received it. And I am the one that received the first call by myself through another person. So I don't know why people always complain about fire service. From 21st December till date, we've been fighting fire morning, afternoon, night, midnight.
Members of the public whose deceased relatives were affected were already devastated and blamed the hospital authorities for what they termed their carelessness.
Just go inside the mortuary now, you saw over 200 people there turned to ashes. Even the one they deposited this early morning, even my younger brother is there.
There are basic things, basic care they should have taken by weeding out the dry leaves and making sure that this place cannot experience this kind of thing. We'll call on the government to come and help us in this circumstance. We need to identify these corpses. Our relations cannot go without the burial of their relatives here.
Efforts to speak with the hospital management proved abortive. From Enugu in Njikoka local government area of Anambra State, Ngozi Okeikeru, NTA News.
Thank you, Ngozi. Now moving to sports, Nigeria football